good, Horror Horde? This is your boy Horror Gamer back with another video for you. And today's video is a very special video. It's going to be a review video. And what am I going to be reviewing, you ask? It's a newer movie that came out a couple weeks ago. And that movie is none other than Bang! Truth or Dare. Now, before I get into this review, I'm going to let everybody know that yes, there's spoilers ahead. So, if you don't want to know the plot of the movie, or if you don't know what goes on, or want to know what's going on, stop this right now. Go see the movie, and then come back, and then let me know what you think. But I'm going to be all right. With that being said, let's just get into it. Bruh. This movie was fucking awesome. Like, your boy Horror Gamer was not expecting this. Like, I went in there with kind of low expectations to begin with because, you know, nowadays your horror movies are hit or miss. This movie was a hit. This movie was like a home run to your boy because it was more like an in the park home run. Because there was some parts that, you know, they were a little but then, bruh, I'm shocked at how good this movie actually was. So let's just start it off, all right? It starts off, you know, this girl is driving through Mexico, which, you know, there's some Mexican accent to it. So, you know, your boy Horror Gamer being half Mexican that he is, you already got my attention. So basically in this movie, this girl fucking drives across the border to Mexico. She's getting cigarettes, and you know, she's sitting there, and the cashier, you know, is speaking Spanish, and then, you know, he answers the phone and then puts the phone down. All of a sudden he says her name, and he's like, Truth or Dare. And this part was just crazy. She walked up, she took the dare, I guess. She went and she grabbed this lighter fluid, went up to this random woman in the store, sprayed her down, and fucking lit her on fire. What? So now you basically do a time jump after this fucking murder beyond belief scene to these college students get ready to go on spring break. You know, they're going to Mexico, you know, because it seems like Mexico's the place to go. So they're there in Mexico, yada yada. They're partying up like, you know, we all did in college. And this girl goes to the bar. It's her last night, and she's like, you know, let me get a drink, blah blah. There's somebody she knows rolls up, and she doesn't like him, obviously, because she makes it really clear that she don't like this dude. So she's like, you know, whatever, blah blah. And then there's a guy sitting at the bar, and he tells this dude off, you know, saying, you know, she's not the one, yada yada, you know, all that pickup shit. So he says, you know, you could have told me to piss off, but I'll buy you a drink. And then, you know, it's the last night, the bar's closed, so they're looking for something to do. So the guy she just met, okay, says, hey, I know this place we can go, you know, party. Okay, first off, you just met this dude 2 hours ago, and you already, you know, got his back, and you want to go do this with your group of friends. So anyway, he talks him into going to this, what was it? It was like a ministry, a monastery. It's abandoned, and they go into this ministry, and they're sitting there drinking some beers and stuff, and he's like, well, hey, you know, let's play Truth or Dare. So they start playing Truth or Dare, and, you know, they start going around, and each time it goes around, you know, it gets a little more fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Like the one guy, the one dude, oh, dude, the one dude's like, Truth or Dare to the girl, and the girl says truth, and then she was like, well, do you know, does whatchamacallit know that you're in love with her boyfriend, like her best friend, you know? And I was like, man, that motherfucker, you know, fuck you. And then it goes to the guy who brought him there, and they're like, Truth or Dare, and he's like, truth. And then he goes off on this, I saw her at the bar and I knew she was gullible. I knew it wouldn't be hard to talk her into coming up here and blah, blah, blah. Like, basically just coming clean on his real intention. So he was dared to start a whole new game with a whole new group of people. Is basically what he told him. And then he fucking goes to leave and she's like, what the hell? What the fuck are you doing? And he's like, follow the rules. If you don't if you don't do the dare, you die. If you don't tell the truth, you die. So basically, there was a curse. This place is cursed by a demon, and this game of truth or dare never stops. So they don't believe it at first, like any typical fucking college kid. A couple weeks go by, I guess. Nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden the main character's walking, and she's starting to see like truth or dare written on her desk, or truth or dare, written on the back of a flyer. And then she's coming out to school and she sees somebody key truth or dare into the side of her car. So she flips out on the one dude who was there because he ended up following him to this monastery, so he ended up being in the game as well. And she's like, you're a fucking, why you key in my car, blah blah blah. And he's like, he's just this big fucking horn dog where all he wants to do is just fuck everything that walks kind of deal. We all know that person. But anyway, she goes into the library to find her friend, and then all of a sudden, like, this one student looks at her with this evil, like, this weird fucking smile on his face. And he's like, truth or dare. And then everybody turns around and is like, truth or dare, And she's like, truth. And then it says, or she says dare or something, and it says, I dare you to tell the truth about your best friend. And then, oh no, it says, what is the truth behind what your friend is getting you to hide? And then she just yells it at the top of her lungs in this library that her best friend constantly cheats on her boyfriend. And then she realizes nobody was saying it. She's seeing all these images in her head. So throughout this movie, they're seeing all this shit, and they're playing this game of truth or dare. Like, the one doctor guy, he's like a doctor, he's going to med school. This is the one who asked about the fucking, does your friend know that you're in love with her boyfriend? He's a douche, and I'm fucking glad as shit. Well, he's at this interview for med school, and he's getting ready to leave, and one of the demons, truth or dare, and he says, truth, somebody got you up to this truth. And then the woman said, how many fake prescriptions do you write? And he's like, none. He lies. He writes fake prescriptions and then sells them, that way they can go get it, legally. And all of a sudden his face turns like this, and he grabs a pen, he fucking jabs it in his eye, and hits his head up against the wall. The other guy, he was hitting on this girl at the bar, the one that nobody likes, the one who wants to screw everything that walks up to this random girl at the bar and is like, truth or dare, or you want to see my pool cue, ask her to play a game of pool, and he's like, by pool cue I mean my penis, blah 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 blah. And then her face turns into the evil smile, and she's like, truth or dare, and he's like, truth or dare. He's like, I know where you're going with this. And he's like, dare, it's sexy, dare. And the girl dared him to stand on the pool table and show everybody his penis. And then some other girl said, I've seen it and I'm not, what did she say? I've seen it and I'm not impressed or something. Well, basically, he backs out of the dare and he gets ready to go walk, and his face turns like this, and he walks over, he's getting ready to fall in a pool cue, and the guy stops and says, hey, don't do that. He's like, yeah, okay, thank you. And he turns around, his face is still like this, and he steps on a fucking pool ball, and he falls off the pool table, and while he's falling, his head hits the other pool table, and it breaks his neck. So, it was crazy. Like, the death scenes were pretty good, and then, the one girl, she was, they all decided what they were going to do was they were just going to say truth, that's it, they only do truth. The one girl, who was the girlfriend of the doctor guy who had killed himself, You know, she's like a drunk, you know, she's like your college junkie. She's all drunk, and, you know, she goes to the bathroom and she's wiping her face, and she gets up and looks in the mirror, and her reflection's still wiping her face. But then her reflection comes up and it's all, you know, and it says truth or dare. And she's like, truth. And then the reflection looks at her and says, nope, you only have one choice. And then, so it dared her to get on top of the roof and walk the edges of the roof while drinking a bottle of vodka. And the dare was over after she finished a bottle of vodka. And she's already fucking drunk, boy, like drunk as a skunk. So she's basically sobriety walking across the top of the wall, or on the roof. She's walking the corners of the roof, sobriety style, and she's like, you know, and then the one guy goes up to, you know, help her out, and her friends are following her with like a mattress underneath. That way, if she falls, they can catch her. And then they get to the part where there's the gate. And then the one friend, the main character, she gets in her car and she fucking runs over the gate and knocks it down because it was like a picket kind of thing. And then she finishes the bottle and then she falls off the roof because she's super drunk, getting ready to fall in the car, and they manage to throw the mattress on top of the car quick. That way, you know, she landed on the mattress and she was fine. And then they end up finding the original girl who at the beginning of the movie burnt the woman alive, and they said, you know, what's going on? And what are the rules to this game? And basically, they made a rule when they were in there: 2 truths and a dare. So if 2 people do a truth, then the third person has to do the dare. So, and that's the part where they were regretting or not wanting to do the dare part, because dare them to do fucked up shit. Well, as the story goes on, they find out that it was a monastery where young women went, you know, to get closer to God, and the priest was just a real perv and just a despicable person who they would play hide and seek, and the person he found he took, you know, had sex with. And so the one girl knew a spell to conjure up a demon, and she conjured up the demon, and it turned out they end up finding this girl. She's all grown up, but she hasn't talked in 50 years. So she started writing stuff down on the paper, and, you know, she was saying about how there was a girl, you know, who conjured up a demon. To put the demon to rest, you got to say this spell 7 times and offer a sacrifice. Well, apparently what you find out is the guy who led this group up destroyed the container that had the sacrifice in it, which allowed the demon to escape. So this was the only guy who could actually stop it. So they were like, okay, well, what's the sacrifice? And it was a tongue. And it was the tongue of the person who had conjured up the demon. So the woman, she was like, wait, it was you? And then the woman shook her head, and then she opened her mouth and her tongue was missing. That's why she hasn't talked in 50 years. So the guy, he got drunk with his core group of friends and destroyed and ransacked the place and broke the jar that woman's tongue was in, which allowed the demon to get out. So, hence, here's what's going on now. So they end up finding the guy. He ended up surviving. He ended up finding the guy, and they took him back up there, you know, to stop this ritual. And, you know, they weren't telling him what he was going to do. They just had a gun to him and said, you need to come up. Well, they take him up, and he starts saying the ritual. And as he's saying the ritual, fucking walls starting to crack and shit's starting to fall off this monastery. And then the demon comes in to one guy and says, you know, truth or dare. And, you know, he says, dare. He said, you don't have any other choice. It's a dare now. And so he dares him to choose somebody between his girlfriend and the main character to kill, because he has feelings for both of them. And as, you know, as the movie went on, you know, you found out that she really did have feelings for her best friend's girlfriend. There was a dare where she had to have sex with her best friend's boyfriend. And then, you know, there was a part where the main character's best friend, the one who she had sex with her boyfriend, her dad had committed suicide, and she knew about it because her dad tried to basically rape the girl. So she knew about it, but she kept the secret, and she kept choosing dare. That way she didn't have to tell the girl the secret. But then, of course, the demon, being as smart as it was, said, I dare you to tell this secret to your friend, blah, blah, blah. So it's a lot of turmoil there. Well, anyway, back to the ending here. It had the main character's best friend's boyfriend choose who he was going to kill. And he walked away. He said, I'm not doing it. This is going to end tonight. I'm not doing it. So he starts walking away while this dude is reading the thing. And he's like, all right, I read it. Let's get out of here. It's over. And she's like, no, we need to sacrifice. So he's getting ready to cut off his tongue. And then the main character's boyfriend's face gets all, and he comes at him. And they manage to tackle him to stop him. But the demon's like, he didn't do the dare. So he broke free. And as the guy's cutting off his tongue, he fucking pulls the knife out of the fucking guy's hand and stabs him with it. And then he looks at the lady that said he never finished his dare, and he cut his own throat with it. Okay, so, and then it was like they were sitting there, oh, it's gotta stop. How is it gonna stop? The guy who was cutting out his tongue for the thing, for the sacrifice, is dead. So how's it gonna stop? And then the girl said, you're gonna get your question next. She said, choose dare, but don't do it. And she's like, are you crazy? She's like, trust me. Because they lost a lot of trust throughout the movie, these two, the best friend and the main character. They lost a lot of trust between each other. And she looked at her and she said, trust me. And she's like, okay, I trust you. So the demon comes and says, hey, she gets into the dead boyfriend and says, truth or dare? And she's like, dare. He said, I dare you to shoot, your best friend. And, the girl looks at the main character and says, it dared me to shoot you. She's like, don't do it. And she said, no. And so her face starts getting weird. The demon goes into her, blah, blah, blah. And then the girl, the main character, makes her shoot her in the arm, And she's like, up, see, it's done. She completed it. And she was like, truth or dare to the demon. And the demon's like, yeah, it don't work that way. And the lady says, the main character says, oh, yes, it does. You asked a question, you're in the game. And the demon's like, truth. And the girl asks him, how do we stop this game? How do we stop you? And the demon, is in the friend, and it says, you don't. The only person who could have stopped me is dead. Basically, it's what it says in a nutshell what the demon said. Basically, the only person who could have stopped me is dead. The game does not stop. The only thing you can do is neither die or start a new game. And let me tell you something, horror. This ending fucking shocked the shit out of me. Alright? I didn't see this one coming. Your boy Horror Gamer doesn't get shocked a lot, but when he does, he loves it. And this was one that fucking got me. Like, I was like, bruh, what? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the beginning to that way you can see what, you know what I'm saying, what's going on with this ending. Okay, so in the beginning, when they originally went into this place and they were playing Truth or Dare, the one friend asked the main character, if aliens landed on the planet and made you choose between killing your group of friends and sparing the country of Mexico, or slaughtering the country of Mexico and sparing your friends, who would you choose? And she says, sorry guys, millions of people, she was like the goody two-shoe. Well, okay, she says that. In the ending, she goes live on her cell phone, because you had to bring the person back to where it started to start a new game. So she goes back to this monastery, you know, because they thought they were going to end it, and they can't. So she gets on her cell phone and fucking live streams herself, basically telling the world the rules of the Truth or Dare game. Okay, this is fucking smart. So basically, what she did the same thing that the dude who brought them up did, but she did it with the world. And her friend's like, what are you doing? I'm choosing you over the world, is what she said. So she fucking put the curse on social media all over the web, so the whole world would be able to see it. And now the whole world is involved in the game. Because she asked at the end, when she was telling them the rules, she's like, so I have one question for you. She said, truth or dare? And then somebody on the other side of the world sitting there watching it like, eh. And then her friend sitting behind her, all of a sudden her friend's face goes, the girl who's on the other side of the planet or whatever watching this thing, her friend's behind her, and then her friend's like, does the fucking evil grin, you know? And I was like, bro, they fucked you guys, yo. And let me tell you something. That was fucking smart, because by the time it's your turn again, bruh, you could probably die of old age. That was fucking smart. So that was basically Truth or Dare in a nutshell. There were some parts I left out because I really didn't want to fucking tell you everything. I wanted to leave some things a surprise. But I basically told you the main plot of the story. Is it The Exorcist? No. By all means, no. But is it fun? Yes. Did it do what it was supposed to do? Yes. It was fun. Was it scary? No, it wasn't too scary. It was well acted. There was a lot of good actors in it. The main character, she was a pretty good actress. I've seen her in other things. The best friend, she was pretty good. Haven't seen her in anything. The best friend's boyfriend, I think his name, the actor who plays him is Tyler Posey. I think he played in Teen Wolf on MTV. So, I mean, they did have some good actors in it, but the acting in it was fucking phenomenal. It was a well-acted movie. It was well-directed. It reminded me, the plot kind of reminded me of It Follows, but it was better. Like, this movie was better than It Follows, because It Follows was fucking boring. But it kind of had the same aspect where you told them the rules of the game, and then you started it as you had sex with somebody and you spread the curse. Basically, both movies are about spreading a curse. So, but Truth or Dare was way better than fucking the other one. But alright, so after all that, after this whole cinematic synopsis here, your boy Horror Gamer is going to give Truth or Dare 8.5 out of 10. So it wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a perfect movie, but it wasn't a bad one. I would probably go see it again in theaters. It was that good. Okay, so like I said, it wasn't perfect, but it was good. But alright, Horror Horde, and if you have a chance, you go out there and you fucking see that movie, because that movie was off the chain. That movie was the shit. So, but anyways, it's been your boy Horror Gamer saying, as always, I love you guys. Thank you for watching the videos. And until next time, as always, don't fear the darkness. Embrace it.